All right, you guys, I'm signing in for the interview. One of their first questions was, things they wanted to know most about in this interview. What kind of expectations do they want from their employees? Online teaching, designing curriculum, designing resources. What's their starting salary range? All right, let's do it.
Standing underneath the lights, look into each other's eyes. Tired snowflakes are coming down, collapse into water when they hit the ground. I hear the sound of empty streets, and yesterday has gone to sleep.
Good morning, you guys, and welcome to this week's vlog. If you caught the title down below, then you know that today is a very different and exciting day. I have an interview with an EdTech company. I believe, long story short, they found me on both LinkedIn and my YouTube channel. And last week they had someone reach out. They wanted to have just like a get to know you session to see if you are a good fit for, in their words, opportunities arising this year. So today is an interview with, I believe, someone in their hiring department. If I'm honest, I have not actually interviewed for a job since I was a classroom teacher. If you remember this, that was the last time I interviewed. So it's been a very long time. This is also my first time ever interviewing in the educational technology or EdTech career field. I have been working to redo a resume that highlights the skills that are important for people in EdTech. I think I've got a good resume here. They already have a copy of it, but I did take a few days to put that together. I also asked you guys on Instagram if anybody had worked in EdTech or knew someone that did, and I also asked if you guys would like this vlog documenting what is going to happen today. I have already taught a few classes this morning. I've got a few more, and then a lunch break, and then I'm going to have a second cup of coffee and do my interview. I did allot a lot of time before and after, so if they wanted to go over their hour time block, we could, and if not, no big deal either way. I am also going to clean up some of this desk. I'm gonna make sure my background looks nice and neat. I've got everything charged in terms of the webcam, the microphone's plugged in, the headset's all good to go, like all of the micro details that need to be done, especially when they're tech details for an EdTech job. So guys, welcome to this week's vlog. Have 2 more classes and then lunch, and then we'll get ready for this interview.
We wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done.
I do want to show you guys our new kitchen floors. If you're new to my channel, we moved into this house just over 4 months ago. We have now redone this office. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw the entire remodel of this room, our basement, our living room, and now our kitchen. You can see our front entryway and our new flooring. I did share on Instagram, I believe Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday during the install 2 weeks ago. Our contractors who were with Home Depot, they got in, they got all the old tile ripped out, and then they have the new tile laid down. They are coming in again on Thursday because when they came to install the flooring, we did not have the right kind of transition strips. So you'll notice down here there is no strip when it goes from carpet to tile. So we have transition strips, and then, welcome to the kitchen. They can also finish down here. They ran out of tile underneath the dishwasher and the refrigerator. But guys, I think this is a much better floor than what we had before. I also did a full house tour that's here on the channel if you want to see what we were working with. Now I know I already showed you guys this room when I showed you the flooring, but I do think it is our first completed and styled room in the house, and that is our entryway. We have a little cabinet over here that has the mirror and the lights on it. We did get a bench. Guests come over, they can sit and take off their shoes, and in the absence of an armoire, we do have hooks up here to house coats. So it's nice. I did also just get a cat palm. So we have a cat palm tree, AKA I searched what will not kill my cat, and this came up, and I had it delivered to the house. I've never actually ordered a plant online, but it's doing pretty well. It gets light in the morning, and since it's afternoon already, the light's on the back of the house now. So our front room, our entryway, our first finished room of the home. There we go. I hope you guys liked the short and simple home updates. Speaking of updates, I will be posting in September a 1 year later house tour, and I'll actually go side by side the day we moved in, September 21st, to a year later on September 21st this year, just to show all the changes we've made. I know those videos are exciting to some of you guys. It's also really exciting for me, and I can show Christopher and our families, here's what we've done in our first year of home ownership. Lunch today, I have homemade egg bites, granola, and then later I'm going to have a protein shake. Full honesty and transparency moment, I eat most of the same things every single day when I'm working from home. I do this for a few reasons. One, I can meal prep it, and it's just simple, easy to go. I don't spend the whole day staring in the kitchen. I do the same with my clothes. I lay them out the day before, so there's no thought process. I save all my mental energy for work, resources, YouTube videos, and also it lets me kind of track my calories. When you are working from home and the kitchen's there with you all day and all night, it can be really easy to snack. So I have worked with a nutritionist in the past few weeks. I am gonna do an entirely separate video, so I won't get into it too much here. Going to eat lunch, and then I've got 2 more classes. I will get back to you guys right before the interview. I'm gonna give myself enough time to like sit and be centered and be present and focused and hopefully have a good interview today. You guys, I want to show you something that I bought Christopher. He doesn't know it yet. I'm gonna pull this down because this lighting is bad. So the day I'm filming this is Monday, February 13th. So tomorrow is Valentine's Day. And something you may or may not know about my husband is he loves Legos, like loves them. So I got him a specially made Valentine's Day present. I found this Etsy shop where you can make and customize your own Legos. So you can see I'm trying to make it not fall, but it says Valentine's Day 2023, Mr. and Mrs. Christopher's favorite colors are orange and purple, so I made the Mr. shirt orange and my pants purple. By the time this video goes out, it'll be well past Valentine's Day, but I really hope he likes it. Oh, it didn't zoom back in on me, or focus. If anybody else here celebrates Valentine's Day or Galentine's Day, let me know if you got a present, if you gifted something, or if you have any rituals. Something else I've been doing this year, other than customizing Legos, has been experimenting with time batching. I now run and I'm growing 2 YouTube channels. I do OutSchool, I do Teachers Pay Teachers. I just started a new YouTube course academy that's now available here on my YouTube channel. If you notice down below, you see a join button, or if you're on the main page, you'll see a membership button as well. I finally have all of that set up, and all of those things took a lot of time. So what I'm doing now is I am time batching, saying, okay, on Fridays in the morning, I will only do TPT products. Fridays in the afternoon, I will only do membership work or correspond with OutSchool parents or do various things that need to be done. You guys, that is a lot. If anybody else here does time batching, let me know if you have any tips or tricks with it. It so far has been the only reason I can get done what I've been able to get done this year. All right, you guys, we have 8 minutes until my next 2 classes, and then we are getting ready for this interview. I know at the time you guys have seen this video, this interview will be done. I will let you know when it is all over, how it went, specific questions they asked, and what things I did to prep that I thought were most beneficial. So if anybody else here is interested in EdTech, maybe joining it, just having more info on it, I hope to deliver a little bit of that in this vlog because it is something I have genuinely been curious about. I, at this point in time, am not desperately seeking a career path change, but what I've been talking about with those who reached out to me is exactly what roles they're looking to fill, what skills are needed, and a lot of them are skills that we online teachers, course creators, resource developers already do on a daily basis. So while I am not like desperate, I need a new job, I am just curious. If something were to come up and a position were to come up, it would be worth it, in my opinion, to at least look into it. So that's where I am right now. So to be honest, I'm not really nervous because it's not a dire, I need this to work situation. And we will see how it goes. I'm gonna teach 2 more classes. I'll get back to you guys right before the interview. Here we go. Something I have in my daily paper calendar is my weekly habit tracker. This is something that not only keeps me on track with business things, videos, classes, resources, but I also use this for things like closing the rings on my Apple Watch, weighing in daily, getting in my water, getting in a 35-minute walk. If you don't have anything like this, if you go to kristinsclassroom.com, I do have something called the Prepared Planner, and one of the pages is a much bigger version of this. So if you have more that you would like to make sure you do Monday through Friday, or specifically Saturday and Sunday, you can check that out there, but highly, highly recommend. All right, you guys, classes are done. I decided to sit down with my day planner and just write everything out for the week. That way, when I'm in the interview, there is no, oh my gosh, did I get that down? It's already here. I'm also gonna have this right to my side while I'm in the interview, as well as a copy of my resume. They already have a copy of it, but if they ask me a specific question that I know is already on that resume, it kind of serves as, you know, my point of reference. An example of this would be if they asked me, what programs am I fluent in? What things am I working on? What's my biggest accomplishments? I have all of them there with me, so I can come off as somebody who can answer questions, have good conversation. I also have questions I want to ask them. What are their goals as a company? What's their starting salary range? What kind of expectations do they want from their employees depending on what things they're doing in the EdTech company? All right, I have everything written down here. I feel a lot better about it. Everything's pulled up. I'm going to log in 5 minutes early. Better to be early than be on time. That whole saying, to be on time is to be late. The last thing I'm going to do is remove myself from the office for 20 minutes, take my water and a book. One of the things I am making sure I do now is take a book with me. I must read for 15 to 20 minutes a day. I don't have that in my habit tracker. I should. If I had a bigger habit tracker, I would definitely put this in. But what this does is it just gives me 15 minutes of not worrying about everything with my job or things coming up. I can't stress about it. It's all done. It's planned for. So now I'm gonna go sit in the living room with my water and my book. Guys, I will be back when it is time to interview. Do we get another coffee? Yes. All right, you guys, I'm signing in for the interview. Here we go. Literally, here goes nothing. Because that looks good, right? When we log in 2 minutes early? Yeah. All right, let's do it. Audio check 1, 2. Yes, let me pull the microphone. Very creative. Well, I know you mentioned both instructional design and preference of either of them going for. So I realized if I was still going to keep my in-person learners in the online space, I had to read throughout that time. Back over to curriculum design. Do you know that we have a platform that serves all on? Let me make a note of that. I absolutely can. All right, interview is done. Clipping the hair up because I got really warm in that interview. It went so well. The interview lasted just over 50 minutes. We had blocked out an hour. They said typically they go between 30 to 45 minutes, but then we just continued chatting and talking about different things. Overall, they were great. I loved it. Things they asked about the most, because I did keep tabs for you guys. Hold on one second. I did write them down because I did not want to forget. How I got started with things like online teaching, designing curriculum, designing resources, being an instructional designer, what applications I used, what applications I felt comfortable using. For example, I don't use a lot of Microsoft Office, but I know how to use it, so I made sure to let them know. While I don't use it on an everyday basis, I was trained in Microsoft Office and I do know how to use all the applications. They wanted to know about Google Classroom, Meets. Today's meeting was held on Microsoft Teams, which I have not used in a while, so I absolutely went and looked up anything I needed to know with Microsoft Teams. I Googled this way in advance. I knew it was going to be on Teams because it said so on the Calendly invite. So how this worked is they reached out to me. I went into their Calendly, which is a website that shows me their availability. I clicked on today's date, February 13th, went in, did the interview, and I knew it was going to be on Teams, so I made sure that my camera, my headset, my microphone, they were all correctly set up, because the last thing I wanted to deal with in a tech interview was problems and interference with my tech side of things. So they wanted to know my experience. One of their first questions was, where did you start your career as an educator, and where are you at now, and where do you want to be in the foreseeable future? They did ask questions about my urgency to get a job. They did ask questions about my level of interest with taking on a new job, because the positions we discussed today are all full-time employment, and why I would want to leave solopreneurship and move into a full-time job with a team, obviously, and a boss. So if you want to move into EdTech or start interviewing or getting those skills you want, these are things I would absolutely recommend you think about and reflect. So if you get asked, hey, you were teaching ESL online or making your own courses, why do you want to work for us? What's your interest in EdTech? These are questions I highly recommend you have an answer for, or an idea of how you would answer them. For me, I hadn't actually sat out and thought about it in advance, but knowing I was interested in this interview and showing them my expertise and already explaining where I wanted to go in the future, I think they got an idea and I was able to answer that question. Other things to definitely know in advance are, what salary range are you seeking and when is the earliest you can begin employment? Those were two questions I also got asked. They are allowed to ask those in these interviews, so have an idea. It doesn't have to be a solid number. I actually gave them a range. Starting entry in position A, because we talked about more than one position. Position A, I'd be interested in, this number to this number. But if I get bumped into this position with more responsibility, more of a workload, more of a leadership role, I would like X amount of dollars as a starting salary. And they were really kind about it. They explained, and when they asked it, they said base. Your base salary that does not include, benefits or bonuses. What is the amount you would want to make? And if you're anything like me, I recommend going to Google or Glassdoor and looking up things like EdTech entry level salary or salaries in EdTech. Don't just fly on the seat of your pants and throw out a number. A, you could be way, way, way too high, or worse, B, you could really be undermining yourself, which, if I'm being honest, teachers are really good at undermining themselves and not taking themselves at face value. For me, I absolutely know I do this all the time, so I did my research. Thank you to those who reached out to me on Instagram, those that emailed me and let me know different things to look up, different things to highlight on my resume. I had no idea that I should put things on my resume like directed my middle school play when I was a teacher. I was gonna take that off because that's not tech related. But one of you guys said, Kristen, that is an example of leadership, project management, efficient communication skills, leadership. So I put it on my resume. If you guys want more information, maybe a tutorial on how to make a professional resume in the field of EdTech, let me know. I would be happy to look into that in the future. And the other thing I did add to my resume was this YouTube channel. The second the interviewer heard I had a YouTube channel that was not about gaming or entertainment, it was more about my experience in online teaching, ESL, creating resources. He was so into it, he wanted to go to it. He actually pulled it up in the interview, which was awesome. I think that's actually what caused our interview to go over time, is he wanted to know more about it. How did you get started? So I told the whole story about losing my job in corporate and going into VIP Kid, and then VIP Kid leading to me interviewing for a full-time classroom job that I had for several years. Then the pandemic. It all kind of flowed together. Can you guys tell? I've had more than one cup of coffee today. But I think this experience, regardless of how it goes, regardless of what follows, I am very proud of myself for going in and doing this. I think old me, even just a few years ago, I would have said, no, I can't do this. I am not ready. I am not qualified. But having all of these different experiences, even if it was making a YouTube video that was a flop, making a course that no one enrolled in, making a resource that no one bought, I learned from those. The failures to the achievements, I guess I'll use that term, they have all taught me something. And I hope, if nothing comes from this interview, maybe I go and I continue seeking out other opportunities. Who knows? I'm at a point now where I feel really good about where I am. I could stay where I am and be comfortable. I could also go and seek new challenges, try something else. And that's actually why I love having this YouTube channel, because I can look back years and years and years ago. If you go on the main page of this channel, I even have playlists all the way down from interviewing to be a first-year classroom teacher, vlogs about classroom teaching. I can go and see how I have learned and I have grown. So those of you who've been with me for the long haul, thank you all so much. Those of you who have just joined, thanks for being here. This was great. I would give this a solid 10 out of 10. It gave me the opportunity to at least update a resume, practice my interview skills, really focusing on staying on task, answering questions. If you have to deviate from a question, letting the interviewer know that you're deviating. Like when they asked me questions and I was answering them, but then a really important detail required me to deviate from answering, I would say, like, long story short, and add in some information. That way we stayed on the point, punctual, and overall we answered all the questions in our allotted time. Last thing I want to mention before we close out this vlog, if you are prepping to do an EdTech interview or any interview, prep all the things we already talked about in this video, but also have questions for them. You're the one who's going to work for them should they send you an offer. So, where do they see themselves in a few years? What's a goal they want to achieve this year as opposed to 5 years from now? What is the workplace morale for both in-person and remote learners? These are such great questions, and it shows the person giving you the interview, you're prepared, you're interested, and just like they're asking you questions, you came prepared with questions for them. I feel kind of like a headhunter. I promise you I'm not. I'm just someone who's prepped for an interview for the last few days. Hopefully more will come. I'm going to keep working on my resume and skills. I'm going to go and talk to other people who already work in the EdTech space, and I'm going to ask them what skills they use on an everyday basis. There may have been some skills the interviewer asked me today that people in EdTech don't actually use as much as they expected. So I'm gonna keep following up on this. Let me know if you have any other questions. Guys, thank you so much for watching today's vlog. I know it was a little bit sporadic, kind of random. We've also been throwing out a couple random videos here and there. If you've caught it, we have done our YouTube Shorts series where we are posting a short every single day to my second YouTube channel in an attempt to hit 1,000 subscribers. Fingers crossed by the day you see this video, we have hit it. If growing a YouTube channel is also of interest, I am adding that to my content calendar. Kristen's classroom is going to be centered around, obviously, online teaching, vlogs, working from home, passive income streams, TPT, making resources in classes, and YouTube strategies. Because YouTube is a great place to be entertained, but it can also be a classroom to teach. Trust me, I've learned many things on YouTube. I highly recommend. Anyway, guys, that is it for today's vlog. I hope you all have a great week. I finished the interview. Check it off. Birthday is this Wednesday, and my friend Alexa and I are going to have a sushi and sake night here and watch a show called Love is Blind. It's gonna be an adventure. Have a good week, you guys. I'll see you in the next one.